Welcome to the latest episode of the Soccer Podcast Show. I'm your host, Paul, and I'm delighted joined by my co-host, Noel, today. So, Noel, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Paul.
Now, Noel, we're just a very quick, look back at the Premiership. There's 6 rounds played. Just a very quick look at it. And surprise, surprise, surely not. Manchester City, top of the table. We haven't the graphic there, but we're at the top of the table. There's 6 played, 6 victories. And I suppose this is the most easiest anyone could have predicted this, but they really started off with a bang this season.
Yeah, Paul, and traditionally, Man City don't really start off very well in the early parts of the season. But, over the last numerous years, I think last year at this time of the year was Arsenal that was leading the way. But Manchester City 6 games played, 6 wins. They have played a few of the promotional sides. I know they did play Sheffield United, and Burnley. They played Burnley on the first day of the season. They won 3-0. And surprise, Mr. Haaland got two goals, but they won 2-0, of course, against Forest there at the weekend. Rodri got sent off, and I felt for much of the highlights. That the Forest had a lot of the ball second half. I felt, if Forest maybe went for a little bit more. I thought City defended. City sort of played on the counter attack in the second half for most of that part, because it was really very early in the second half that he got sent off. I wouldn't say City were there for the taking, but I think if Forest had got a goal, you never know what might have happened, But they saw out 2-0, and of course their closest rivals to the table last season, Arsenal. There was a big North London derby. It finished 2-2.
I think, just in case someone don't know, that we an Arsenal Tottenham.
It was 2-2. I think Arsenal took the lead twice. It was a known goal from Spurs in the first half, and then some equalised just before half time, and Saka buried the penalty for Arsenal in the second half. But then Jorginho, he's probably their third choice in midfield, because Declan Rice got injured at half. He got injured just before the break. I think it's a back injury. He got taken off, and then Jorginho had to play on, and he got the ball on his feet, and so I think it was Madison nipped in and he gave the ball to Son, and it was leveled in no time. So it's 2-2. I think, from what I hear from a lot of Arsenal fans, they're not playing as well as they're not playing as well as they can. Certainly depending on last year's performances anyway. They drew 2-2 with Fulham, scrappy enough, 2-2. Probably could and should have won the game, and Arsenal probably feel they should have won this game. And
Liverpool seemed to have picked up a very good start. That seemed to be, I think, that they were disappointing last season, so I think they have picked up a bit, and they seem to be playing better.
They have. They were lucky enough in the first half against West Ham. I saw the highlights from yesterday last night. They could and probably should have been 1 or 2-0 down with the chances Antonio missed. I don't know how he. It was a mess of a header. I mean, you're taught when the ball's crossed, you hit the ball back where it came from. But he got it completely wrong altogether, and a mess of a header. But and could and should have been 1-0 up. And David Moyes sank to his knees. You don't see David Moyes sank to his knees many times. But Liverpool, after the second half particularly, they performed well. They deserving winners 3-1, and Liverpool are going away nicely. I think they started with a draw away to Chelsea, and probably in the first half they probably could have been 2-0 up. But they ended up drawing again 1-1. I think they've pushed on now. Funny enough, though, Liverpool seem to go behind an awful lot in the games, but they're coming back and winning.
Yeah.
But they get the same thing happened to them last weekend against Wolves, and they should have been 2-0 down. Another missed opportunity from Wolves, badly timed header as well. But Liverpool seem to be going away nicely now, and I have to admit.
Yeah.
And I think on the performances now, they can be the closest challenge to City, because City do play Arsenal in a couple of weeks, and I think if Arsenal don't broke up now in the next couple of weeks, City could be 7 points ahead of them. And when City are 7 points ahead of you, it's very hard to claw that back.
Yeah. Manchester United seem now they had a kind of a poor start there, but now they have come good now and they've won a few games. They're not playing brilliantly, but look, they're not at the same level as Manchester City. Let's be clear about it. But they're definitely improving, and obviously the European games are going to be midweek games too. But there seems to be, again, it's a long slog, and there's obviously stuff going on in the background with the owners. That's causing unsettlement. There's no doubt about it. You have to be successful. You have to have everything lined up, all going in the one direction. But there still seems to be the manager is under pressure. Any kind of a result when they're not winning, he's getting fierce criticism. But it seems to be, in my opinion, from an observer status, and no connection at all. We're just looking at it. He seems to be doing a good enough job. I said there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that we don't even know that happen.
Yeah. I think with the Glazers, and there's a lot of big issues off the field that we're not going to go into now, Paul.
Yeah.
But that's this that they don't say every. But it's just the ownership. Their first minute, they were 6 months ago. They're saying they're going to sell the club. Now there's talk that they're not going to sell it. Share prices, all that stuff, which I don't know enough about, but it's going up and down. I think they had a bad run of form. You know, they were very lucky to beat your team 3-2. They were 2-0 down. Very, very lucky to win it in the end. They got a soft enough penalty, many people feel. And I think they lost the course against Bayern Munich. They got absolutely beaten out the gate by Brighton 3-1, and could and should have been more.
Didn't they?
Lost to Arsenal. So they had a bad run of form, and that win against Burnley was a big win for them.
Yeah.
Because it gets the show back on the road, and I think the fixtures now is kind enough to them in the next couple of weeks. So I think United will probably go up the table now in the next couple of weeks as well. They've been very, very poor, and I suppose we're going to have to go on to my own team now in a minute, Paul. I suppose the way things are going.
Yeah, we'll go down to the bottom half of the table, didn't know. Since you're missing Chelsea there, tell us all about it. How you're doing?
There's a word that say masterclass in performance, but this is a disaster class in terms of the performances lately. It's just. It's from top to bottom, Paul. The team's form is absolutely shocking. I mean, I think if someone did the league table from the start of the year, Chelsea be bottom. Because if you take away the 3 relegated sides, our form, the calendar year. I know Pochettino has a lot to do with that, but the calendar form is absolutely dreadful. We can't buy a win. We can't buy a goal. We're losing at home to Forest, drawing away to Bournemouth, and losing at home to Villa, and not score any goal in all 3 of them. We can't buy a goal. We can't, and the fans are getting really. They were booed off yesterday. They were booed off against Nottingham Forest. There was even murmurs away to Bournemouth. The fans are thinking 1 billion spent, and we've nothing to show for it, and we don't have a fully functioning striker that can score goals. It's just crazy.
Yeah, no, just a question. Is it Pochettino? Is he the manager now? Has he been appointed this year?
Yeah, he was appointed. To be honest with you, Paul, he had a great pre-season, and he was playing players in the right position. But for me, for a lot of Chelsea fans, we just cannot get over the fact that he has Lewis Caldwell playing left back or left wing back when he's a centre back, and he played centre back all through pre-season. That's why he played for Brighton. But for some reason, we're playing him on the
even though find out now, you would know more about it than I, but in my book, Pochettino has a good record. He was at a number of clubs. He steadied them up. I thought he was a very good manager. So is there trouble in the background again? Are his hands completely tied? Is there something else going on? And we don't have to go into details. That, as I said, there's definitely, it isn't just when he came in, but there's a lot of trouble in the background. There's money being spent, but as an observer, it seems it's like being washed down the drain.
Well, the money is well, the money is just not the only problem. It's the 8 and 7 year contracts, which he's given a lot of players. And to be fair, Paul, if you're guaranteed 100,000, 200,000 for 7 years, and you have a contract saying that's what you're going to be paid, motivation is going to be an issue. And it's just now, obviously, players want to play. They want to do well. They don't want to be booed off the pitch. They don't want to be getting abuse from the fans, particularly when you're being paid that type of money.
If you're getting 500,000 a week, you wouldn't take with booing. The booing would go away fairly fast.
Yeah. I don't think. No, to be fair, the wages have gone down because there's some players that we can't get rid of. They're from Abramovich's time, so the wages aren't as high as they were. But when you're guaranteed 200,000 or whatever, some of the players are on, it's a big issue. Like it's nobody's done it before because it probably doesn't work. And to be fair, the team, the ownership, the fans, everything is all going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it's a fiasco at the moment, to be honest with you.
I know, just before we move on to the next 2 teams, is there a danger if they don't start turning around it come Christmas time in January that you could have a real relegation battle?
Well, I would think relegation battle is a bit fair because, because I can't believe I'm going to say this, but there's definitely 3 worse teams than Chelsea, for God's sake. But I have to say, Paul, there's a fixture list after the international break. After they think they've got, I don't know if it's all in accurate now and the way I'm going to say them, but we have Brighton, we have Newcastle, we have Arsenal, we have Man United, we have Tottenham, we have City, we have I forget who else we have, but we have a horrible run of fixtures
Yeah.
after the next international break. I think in October.
Yeah.
I think by Christmas, if we're down 15th, 16th place, I can't see him surviving. No,
Yeah.
that sounds crazy after 6 games, but it's the run of form which is a huge concern. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, if they raise their game for these big games, which would be really, really annoying, because against Liverpool, for the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we were outplayed, but we got back into the game and we played very, very, very well. And at the end of the game, we were the ones pushing for the win. They raised the game for that game, but they didn't raise the gallop in against West Ham. They beat them 3-1, lost against Forest, lost against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden we turn up now in the big games, that'd be saying we're wasting motivations for the bread and butter games against the Forest, the Villas, where you should be beating Bournemouth away.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be really, really difficult now for him, and he's making life difficult for himself. Not playing players in the best position.
Yeah.
Very defensive minded against a lot of these teams. Forest, Bournemouth, in my view. So, look, he's only got 6 games in. He's going to get the time, but if the feast, we've lost what 3 games, 4 games already.
Yeah.
You can't be losing that amount of games, particularly when you spent $1 billion. No, he hasn't. The £1 billion is over 3 transfer windows, but people won't care about that. If you spent 100 million on Caicedo and he's injured 1 minute and then he's back in the team and now his form is terrible, and Enzo Fernandez 100.
Yeah.
It's people are going. This is a stick that's going to be beating the club for a long, long time.
Just before we finish up, to me, there's 2 teams are nailed on to be relegated. 2 of the promoted teams, Luton Town and Sheffield United. Now, Luton Town, in fairness, they've come from the 4th division in about 7 or 8, 9 season 9. They've had 2 promotions in a row. Now, I believe they were reformed a kind of a fan-run club now. So I just hope Luton Town don't go spinning mad. And if they get relegated, they get relegated and build again. But the fans should just enjoy the season. Sheffield United now, they got a hammer at the weekend. They seem to be struggling as well. So. And again, to me now, and it's very early and teams could turn, but to me, both teams are nailed on to get relegated.
Oh, nailed on, Paul. Luton Town and Sheffield United. I think most people at the start of the season, I think Sheffield United sold all their best players because financially, I don't think they're the best, which is crazy because they have to get promoted to the Premier League, but they will get the payments when they get relegated. I think even if you finish bottom of the Premier League now, you're going to get a guaranteed 100 million. So that's what they say anyway. But you're right. I think they're nailed on. Luton Town and Sheffield United. I have a bit more hope for Burnley, but I think Burnley are way too open. I think Company could be under pressure now. There's danger now he could get sacked the way things are going because they lost another game at the weekend. They've already got points on the board. A lot of people felt Everton might go down, but I have a funny feeling that Everton will stay up. I think they had a great victory at the weekend. I have a funny feeling that Bournemouth or Wolves will go. I think Burnley, definitely a mixture there with Burnley, Wolves, Luton Town and Sheffield United. I think that Luton Town and Sheffield United are definitely gone. So I think really this season, as far as from what I gather, this season there's going to be one team caught because I think Luton and Sheffield United are certainties to go down. And I think it all depends of Everton, Bournemouth, and
there's always possibility of another 1 or 2 teams. As you said, a bad run of form, you could slip into that. But so look, no, we leave.